So that's just a question of you know, making sure you've got the heat shield in the right place while you're wiggling this back and forwards to make sure you don't hear no rubbing or the clearance is good. So let me put the camera down and I'll get back to you when I've just positioned this thing on the back. Right, so let me, I've just reassessed things slightly. The procedure was much the same. Oops, sorry, let me get on the floor. What I did was I moved the heat shield back towards the back of the bike as far as I could. Okay, then done that Jubilee clip up. Okay, that's the front Jubilee clip. What I've done is loosen the back clip off, loosen the back bracket, the front bracket of the slip-on, and loosen the two nuts behind. So what I can do then is I can shuffle the cannon up to get this gap tight, whereas before what I've done is I shoved the slip-on cannon on as far up as I could go. I'd slip this far up as I could go, and what it was doing is obviously binding on the pedal, but I can actually see a gap behind there now, and this isn't hitting this anymore. So my advice to you is, if you undo this and move this and take this off, move it back as far as you can, do the front Jubilee clip up, and then once you've got the cannon on, you can just slide the cannon backwards and forwards until you've got this gap here, somewhere where you find it aesthetically pleasing, or measure it or do something so that it goes back exactly to where it was. So don't know if you can see that gap closing up, but I assure you it is closing up. And I think what's happening is the bracket's gone as far as forwards as it can, and then the Jubilee clip under here is hitting that bracket there. So then you can just tighten the whole lot up and it should be good. So let me rotate that round again. That's not going to go no further forward than that. Let me just make sure the bolts are undone far enough with my fingers. You can see the whole lot wobbling, and that gap's closed right up. The heat shield's not going to be moved because it's fixed in by the front Jubilee clip, and yeah, that looks like I've done it. I hope you've understood all this, I really do. But now I'm going to bolt it all up and check the pedal, check that it's not blowing, because it shouldn't be blowing. But yeah, okay, so the answer is make sure the heat shield is back as far as it can go, because it might be a case if you take the slip-on off, you have to undo all this lot anyway, and when you can't put this back on first because you can't see what's going on here, so put the slip-on, put the heat shield on, fix the heat shield in place at the front bracket, leave the two brackets loose, then you can fiddle it backwards and forwards so that you're happy, and then bolt the whole lot up. Hopefully we'll soon find out. I just wanted to point out some stuff. Show you where we are. We're going under the bike. As the edge of the slip-on is right there, and this bracket is as far forward that way as possible, but it doesn't overlap the edge of the slip-on. They're equal to each other, and you can just do that up with a 14mm. The car's whizzing past my head. Okay, so just put another turn on that just to nip it up, because it's as far as forward as it needs to be. make sure the Jubilee clip is sitting in the centre of it where it needs to be, and we'll do that up. Okay, slide that up there, and I'll tighten it up. Oops, sorry about that. Tighten that up in a sec. Make sure the Jubilee clip is sitting central to where it wants to be. The clip's done up there. I mean, you can try and rotate it back up as far as you can so you don't see all this stuff. Personally, I would have took the Jubilee clips off. That I might do when I repair the heat shield, is turn them off and put the Jubilee clips that way, so you actually have to come under it from under that side, because I think that the Jubilee clips might be better off the other way around. More difficult to get to, but you won't see them as much. Yep. And there you have it. I mean, I've got to do up the rear bolts and stuff, but I'll quickly do all that and get back to you when it's all done and fire it up and see if it's blowing anywhere. Right, so that's all back on. So let me just quickly take you exactly through exactly what I used. 8mm, 10mm. Yep, 8mm, 10mm spanner. I used a screwdriver, but that's an 8mm, so you can use an 8mm spanner on it. I just used a screwdriver with a 8mm socket on it for the Jubilee clips. Nearly dropped the camera on the floor. Main clamp for the slip-on cannon to the front down pipes is a 14mm, and the bolts on the back of the slip-on is a 13mm. So there you have it. Let's just go underneath. It's all done and back on. So what I did is the pedal. It's not actually hitting that now. And if I drag myself off the floor, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I'll try and get it in there, but I can actually see daylight in there now, and before I couldn't get my fingernail in there. And this bit, when pushing down, was hitting this. Obviously when this got hot and expanded, it jammed against the pedal. The tolerance is crazy, it really is crazy. For wanting to put a longer peg on there or bend it that a little bit more, it would have been fine. Why they made that so tight, so that if you moved the heat shield 1/4 of an inch further forwards, it bound. Why they did it that way, I really don't know. I really don't know. But it might be something that they fix in the wash. But there you have it. That's done. I'll go in and edit this lot now and load it up, and hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully I've explained it correctly and so that you can understand it. If not, my apologies. But there you go. I've got to go and do Jeff's one now at some point. Don't know if I'll do that this afternoon. Weather looks alright. But yeah, there you have it. I'm Ariel. I've been at home. See you next time.